Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. How far away are we to a complete economic collapse? You ever wonder if all this stuff that's in the news that they're trying to make important, that we all know really isn't important, maybe it's just a distraction for some of the real things that's going on behind the scenes that are very devastating to our world. And I believe that could be in part what's going on, especially when it comes to the economy, to the spending, to the digital dollar, collapsing of the US dollar, and so on. So I want to talk about that today and a few other things surrounding that. I do want to mention one thing. I keep forgetting to say this for the last week or so, and this is in regards to the actual channel. We all know about the censorship coming from YouTube and other platforms like that. For those of you that are leaving comments in the comment section and then finding that your comment is no longer there, it is not me. Okay, I almost never delete a comment unless it is extremely vulgar, or if it's threatening, or if it's a personal attack to someone. I don't, even if I don't agree with it, or if it's attacking me. YouTube is censoring the comments very heavily, and I've noticed that a lot lately. When I get a little notification that someone has commented on the channel on a video, I go to it and it's gone. And this is happening very frequently. So if you find that your comments are being censored and being removed by YouTube, or they're not there, I assure you it is not myself that is doing that, unless your comment was just really uncalled for. They are censoring very heavily in the comment section. Also, before I get started, I want to mention a company that I've partnered with, and I believe they're a really good company, and it's Patriots Supply. They make excellent emergency freeze-dried foods. This isn't something that I would recommend that you invest all of your money into when it comes to your food preps, but I do think it's a good idea to have a little bit of it set aside, along with all the other types of foods that you put away for preps. And you can go to preparedwithtravis.com and you can buy this stuff in buckets. This is restaurant quality food, very high grade. The food is, I believe it's the best price per calorie food out there. And it's a really good family run company. Patriots Supply at preparedwithtravis.com. All right. How much have you heard in the news lately about the economy, about spending, about deficits and debt, and inflation? Have you heard a lot about that? Not too much. Every once in a while you hear a little snippet here and there, but certainly that's not what the news cycle is focused on. And I believe there's a reason for that. I think they don't want you to know really what's going on. They can kind of tell you, well, we've already said it. We let them know that we're going to spend another $3 trillion. We kind of, by the way, we're going to spend $3 trillion. That's how they do it. And they're getting by with it. And I think this trend of stimulus packages and increased spending over and over, we're in the trillions. I can remember back under the Obama administration when it was just under $1 trillion. I can't remember the exact amount. It was like 900 billion or something like that. And I remember people were losing their minds. Like, what in the world? Almost $1 trillion? This is crazy. And then Trump came along, and as much as many of you liked him, he wasn't really a whole lot better when it came to spending. And some stimulus packages were passed under him into the trillions, and then now we have Biden. And the amount of spending is, well, I don't even think most of us even know exactly how much it is, because there's so many different things that they're talking about doing that we don't really know what the total number is, because, well, they're just spending money faster than it can be printed. And they don't care. They don't care that it's the long-term effects of that. They don't care how it's going to truly affect the economy and the American people over the next several decades. Because I think in the end, I think that they want it to crash. Because I think that fits really well with the Great Reset. They want to do away with the United States dollar. Even though I'm not crazy about our currency, I'm not crazy about how it works. I don't like it. It's not gold back. I get it. It's awful. But at least it's something that you can put in your hand and that you can control it to a certain extent, and that you can purchase with it with a certain level of anonymity. And what they're wanting is a digital US dollar. And a lot of people are thinking, oh yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, it's like Bitcoin. No, it's not like Bitcoin. In fact, I have a gut feeling that once the digital US dollar comes to pass or comes to be, they're going to do everything they can to make it nearly impossible to trade and purchase and invest and hold Bitcoins. Other countries are trying to do it. The Federal Reserve and Janet Yellen, the head of the Fed, has already been very clear that they don't like Bitcoin. And so I think that once the digital dollar comes out, because right now, I mean, I know some of you have made some money off of it. I get it. But it's still kind of almost a novelty still. I mean, it's kind of moved beyond that. But, you know, it's still just an investment that some people do, and they kind of play with it. But if the digital US dollar comes out and they do away with all our paper currency, which is exactly what they're wanting to do, I mean, the Federal Reserve has already been talking about this, then the Bitcoin is certainly going to be a major competitor, and they don't want that. They don't want competition with their currency. And so they're going to do everything they can, even though they may not make it impossible for you to own it, they can make it extremely difficult for you to do anything with it. You know, what are you going to do with it? They can make it illegal to trade it. Then you would have to do it on the black market and risk criminal prosecution. They could make it virtually illegal for you and impossible to actually purchase things with it. They have ways to control it, and don't think that they don't. That's my opinion. I know that that's not the opinion of a lot of you, but I think that's what they're going to do. And all of this spending, it's like they're spending as fast as they can because they know eventually it's all going to crash anyways. And at that point, it won't matter how much debt we're in. And brother and sister, we are in an insane amount of debt. The U.S. debt clock is showing us at $28 trillion in debt. And that's not unfunded debts of Social Security and Medicare and all Medicaid and all that kind of stuff. That's just the simple debt, right? Look at our debt to GDP ratio. Right now it's at 130%. It's astronomical, 130%. I mean, that shows right there why, you know, that we're in inflation. I mean, we're in an inflationary period. The total U.S. debt, if you look at private debt and state debts, so if you take that, the debt to GDP ratio is at 145%. These are numbers that should scare most Americans if you actually understood what these numbers meant. But most Americans don't care. They don't care because they're getting free money. That's right. They're getting free stimulus pack money, you know, $1,200, $1,400, who knows, there'll probably be more. A lot of people are still getting monthly checks, or they're getting increased checks of unemployment. I've talked to several people that are employers that are saying that they're having a hard time getting people to come to work for them because these people are making more money sitting at home on unemployment. The amount of money that the debt has occurred for people not having to pay their rent or their mortgage, that's all going to catch up someplace. This is happening at a level that we've never even seen before. I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's astronomical. And a lot of people keep going back to, oh, well, the stock market's doing good. Stock market's going up. It's because they've been giving free money away. And it's because that the value of those stocks are inflated. They're not worth any more than they were a year or two ago. Nothing's worth more than it was a couple of years ago. But the money that's being used to purchase it is grossly inflated. And so therefore it causes the prices to go up. And the amount of basically fake money, free money, that's been dumped into the stock market over the past 12 months, a lot of it from these stimulus checks has been a lot. In fact, there's been some number crunching going on, and there has been more money invested in the stock market in the past 12 months than the previous 12 years. Okay? More money invested in the stock market in the last 12 months than in the previous 12-year period. That's a lot. Uh, and a lot of people say, "Oh, that's good. That's good." No, it's not, because it's creating a huge bubble. Okay, it's creating this appearance that things are going good because the stock market's up, but that house of cards eventually is going to come crashing down, and we're already seeing the results of it. We're seeing inflation, and while they're saying that, oh, the inflation rate right now is about 2.6 or 2.7%. I don't buy it. From the numbers that I've looked at and then articles I've read, that it's probably actually somewhere between 6 and 9% right now. Because if you look at everything, every commodity, every raw material, food, everything, virtually everything, the price has gone up. It's inflated. And look at this. Look at some of these news articles that I've pulled off just by doing a simple Google search. Companies like Coke and Procter and Gamble and Whirlpool, and are saying that they've got to start increasing their prices, just because the raw materials have gone up. Grocery stores are saying, hey, expect to be paying a lot more already. Have you gone grocery shopping yet lately? Have you looked at the increase of goods? Have you looked at the cost of a gallon of milk? Have you looked at just the prices of just things? Okay, it may not be an astronomical increase just yet, but if everything's costing you a nickel and a dime more, it's going to cause the overall cost of your groceries to increase quite a bit. And it has no signs of stopping anytime too soon. And raw materials all over, and commodities, everything is going up. There's all kinds of little jokes going around on the internet. You see some guy pulling a trailer full of lumber and say, he's a millionaire. He's showing off how many millions he's worth. It's not too far from the truth right now. And there's no reason for it. There's absolutely no reason to be paying $7 and $9 for a 2x4 stud. Okay? That's stupid. There's no reason for it. To be paying $100 for a piece of plywood that, a year and a half ago cost you $25. But it's getting worse, okay? There's probably no signs yet on the horizon that it's going to kind of start lessening up. And the reason is because the spending just keeps going. This infrastructure bill, which we all know is not an infrastructure bill. This is a blank check for the hard left to introduce the Green New Deal. That's all it is. Almost $2.5 trillion, $2.2 trillion, and only a couple $100 billion of it is actually going to infrastructure. The rest of it's going for all these ridiculous progressive left programs. And they're still pushing for the Green New Deal, which would add trillions and trillions of more to the debt. And increased in the budget. Biden has increased the budget, $1.5 trillion for a supplemental budget. There's no signs of this stopping. And there's more stuff on the way. They're talking about giving monthly checks to people with children, a tax credit type of thing where they send monthly checks. And they're still talking about universal basic income, which just a few years ago, everyone laughed at it. That's the most insane thing whatsoever. They're not going to do a universal basic income and just start sending everybody a check every month. That's just stupid. Except now they're taking it serious. And now a lot of politicians are seriously talking about this and the possibilities of there being a universal basic income. And the effect of all of this, it's affecting everyone across the board, all the way from the very wealthy down to the poor nobodies. Even the wealthy, I saw these couple of articles here. This one was a few years ago. I think it was in 2019 or something. And millionaires, it was saying that millionaires are going to support Joe Biden over Donald Trump. Yeah, they're gonna vote for him. They think Joe Biden's the best way. And then this recent article, like today or yesterday, it's talking about how all these wealthy people are just blown away that Joe Biden's going to tax them to death. He's going to increase their income taxes, increase their capital gains taxes. He's going to make it hard for them, and they're just disgusted. They're disgusted at what he's doing. So the people that were all excited to vote for him, guess what? This is what you got, folks. This is what you voted for. Again, no signs of it stopping. They're getting serious about talking about reparations. There's been, Joe Biden himself even said that he was very interested in studying it. So there's been some type of commission, or they're wanting to form a commission to study this idea of reparations. Well, how much is that going to cost? No one really knows, but a lot of the estimates are somewhere between 12 and up to $17 trillion. 12 to $17 trillion for reparations. So you're going to just dump that on top of it. Then, of course, you've got millions and millions of more illegals crossing the border, getting a bunch of handouts, and it just on and on and on, right? Giving free education, getting housing. The welfare program is it's just exploding. I was doing a little bit of digging, and then it's funny how when I do some digging, then I come across a video that's talking about very similar things. Did you know that if you added up the money that has been spent on all U.S. wars combined, starting from the Revolutionary War up to now, and adjusted for inflation, okay? So whatever they spent on the Revolutionary War, if you adjusted that to today's money, combined, from the beginning of the United States till right now, you're going to come up with somewhere around $8 trillion, okay, is what we've spent. Half of that was spent on just World War II. Okay, around $8 trillion roughly. If you took the war on poverty, okay, the war on poverty started by LBJ, if you went over the last 50 or so years, since we've been doing all these welfare programs, do you know how much money we've spent? Around $22 to $24 trillion on all these welfare programs to end the war on poverty. And it's not ended at all. It's just, it's caused an even bigger wage gap. It's caused an even bigger separation of the rich and the poor. It's basically killing the middle class. And it's causing an increased dependency of people on the government, which is, of course, what they want. They want to see this collapse. They know that the only way that they can usher in this new era of Green New Deals and great resets and fourth industrial revolutions and global diversity and tolerance is if the house that we're living in now collapses. They know that's really the only way. And that's why we've seen such insanely radical changes just in the last 3 months. And there's no signs of it stopping anytime too soon, folks. So buckle up, get your houses in order, prepare like you've never prepared before. If you have money investments, I'm not the guy to ask. But I would tell you, you need to look very serious and hard at them and do some research on where to move your investments around so that you might have a chance of being protected. Me, I like metallics. I like gold, silver, and brass and lead. But hey, that's just me. The fact is, folks, is this new world that we're living in, this reset that we're going through, this radical change that is being pushed by this administration, the politicians, the hard left, and really most of the rest of the world, well, it's upon us. And I think a lot of the stuff that's in the news, while it may be real, it could have some level of importance. I think in the end, a lot of it is simply just a distraction because they don't want you to know what they're really doing to your money, to your investments, to your future, everything. And someday, when we hyperinflate our dollar or it completely collapses and everyone is just in panic and they're on the brink of starvation and they're thinking their whole world's ended because, people are jumping out of buildings and there's chaos. Oh, but hey, we got it fixed. Here's the digital dollar. That's right, digital dollar. Now it's secure. Now we know everything that you're doing. You can't hide anywhere. You can't hide your purchases. We can turn your money off anytime you want. We don't have to worry about, doing any kind of red flag gun laws or doing background checks in the way we used to. We just turn your money off and now you can't even purchase stuff, right? We don't want, old Johnny buying a new shotgun. Well, we'll just enter a code into his digital purse there, his digital wallet, and say that his money can't be used to purchase shotguns or ammunition or gunpowder or land or whatever else we want. Because that day is coming, folks. And if you do the research and see about the fourth industrial revolution and all the new technologies coming out, well, it all fits. And I think that's a big thing of why we're seeing the most insane level of spending that this nation has ever seen. And again, there's no signs of it stopping anytime too soon. So whatever you're doing, get your house in order. All right, folks, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.